Hello everyone, welcome back to Football Manager 2017 with Newcastle United, and we are finally getting back to form. You might have seen in last episode we did end a horrendous run of matches. I'm amazed we survived by beating Southampton, had a couple of more wobbles, and then managed to beat Norwich and then Man City in a fantastic result, probably the best result we've had in this series so far. And today we get to carry on that form. We're playing Everton, Sunderland and Palace, which should be three winnable games in the league before taking on Leicester, Arsenal and West Ham. So three probably decent opponents followed by three probably tougher opponents. Not a bad run of games to go on after a couple of excellent wins. At the end of this episode, somebody did put in a request for us to take a look at where the other teams are in terms of transfers, their squad. So I will go through some of the major teams at the end of this episode, just having a look at their best players, who they've brought in, and how they're faring in these last couple of seasons. If you do have any other requests, things that you'd like to see from this series, do let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to take a look and let you guys know what's happening. But we today going to carry on with our tactic, which we changed in the last episode and seems to, as far as I can see, be the reason that our form has turned up a little bit. So hopefully that'll carry on today. Morale is high, and against Everton we've got Origi leading the line with Atsu and Richie behind him. Wijnaldum has come into the team. He's been asking for playing time, as has Jamal Lascelles. So both of those are back in the team. Vilhena alongside him, Harrison Reed filling in for the injury crisis in defensive midfield. And then the defence is almost as he were, with Keane coming in at right back and Ospina carrying on in goal. Garner running in the centre of the field, loses it to Vilhena. Now Matt Ritchie on the run for us down the right hand side. He's got players inside. He's going on his own. He's found Origi! And we've taken the lead inside 6 minutes. Divock Origi's first goal, or second goal. Gerrard, just outside the area, picks out Ryan Mason. He's running into the box, and Ospina hasn't kept that. What has happened there? Ospina has let that ball go into his own goal. Absolutely horrendous keeping. Wijnaldum picks out Vilhena. He sends it wide. Michael Keane on the ball, back inside to Ritchie. And it's been given away in Origi with an easy finish for 2-1. The Everton defence just completely fluffing their lines, and we have taken the lead back. This has been a very hard-fought victory. Everton actually had more shots and shots on target by the end of that game, but we were dominant in the first half, and we had a bit of luck for our second goal, just as Everton had for their first goal, and I think it was a fair result if you look at the whole match. And it means we've now won 3 games on the bounce after going so long without a win. We are finally picking up the points and moving up the table. We're still not that far off the top 4, so we'll have to see where we end up by the end of this episode. It's that time of the season that we have to play our arch rivals Sunderland. We are at home for this one, and on the run of 3 victories. So I'm thinking that we should be able to beat them. They are struggling in the league, down in about 16th place. And we've got a couple of players back. Iorfa in at right back and Silva in at central defensive midfield. Wijnaldum and Vilhena continue in the centre with Atsu, Ritchie and Origi leading the line. Vincent Janssen's unhappy and not having enough playing time, but when you're on a 6.53, I told him he essentially had to shut up, and he agreed. But this is going to be quite an interesting game. I love beating Sunderland, and if we can make it 4 wins in a row, I think we'll actually be in some of the best form we've ever been in on this save. Corner for Ritchie, less than 5 minutes in this game. Lascelles is up there. There's Chambers again, and Pickford saves it. We've been absolutely robbed by Sunderland today. We had so many chances to win it. We hit the woodwork maybe 3 or 4 times. Absolutely horrendous that we didn't win that. We are nearly at Christmas now as we play Crystal Palace away from home. You'll see the team form is pushing up towards that 7 points across the board. That is kind of where we should be if we're going to achieve our results this season. The team is playing quite well. 5 games unbeaten now. But I do want to get us back to winning ways. And away from home against the bottom club, you should be doing that. The team is not changed much from the last game. Michael Keane back in at right back for Iorfa. But otherwise, it's the same team going out there. A few players, 1 yellow card away from suspension, which we need to keep our eye on. But against the bottom club, even if we are away from home, we should be getting 3 points. Vargas beats one defender, chips it over the top. And there's the ball inside to Benteke, and Crystal Palace with a slick passing move have taken the lead. But Mangala's picked up the ball. Here's Vilhena. Chips it into Christian Atsu. And we've got the equaliser. An excellent goal from Atsu. Only his second of the season. Gets us back on terms. Corner for Palace. Correa in. Oh, and it's gone straight in. Soiree, unmarked. Just knocks it into the bottom corner for 2-1. Free kick for Matt Ritchie. Into the top corner. It's 2-2. Corner for Matt Ritchie. To the far post. Lascelles is up. Origi on the ball. To Atsu. Inside to Lucas Silva, saved, back in again, Origi touches it home. And I thought the chance was gone when the keeper made an excellent save there, but Origi was still in the box and tucked it in for 3-2. But Michael Keane does pick out Ritchie. Inside to Sigurdsson, back to Vilhena, over to Atsu. That was excellent, patient passing in the final third, exactly what I want to see from the team. And Christian Atsu scores our 4th goal. Sigurdsson looking over the top. Matt Ritchie's got in between the two defenders. And now Janssen's in on the area. And Janssen does score. He finally has his first goal of the season. It's nearly the end of the year. And yet he's just scored. We might have made it seem comfortable in the end and on the scoreline. But it wasn't in reality. That was a much tougher game than it looked. But we have got the victory. It's a crucial victory. It solidifies our top 10 position. We're now 4 points clear of Everton. And we are so close to West Ham and Chelsea as we look to get up into those European places. We begin our run of 3 more difficult matches now, starting at home against Leicester before we take on Arsenal away at the Emirates. That's where our unbeaten run is probably going to come to an end. There's a few changes to the team today due to suspension. Fofana is coming in at defensive midfield. I think this might actually be his debut. And we've also got Gomez coming in at the centre, Iorfa in at right back. But there's also one bit of transfer news to let you know about, and that is that we have signed Mateo Kovacic from Real Madrid for just £6 million, which I was absolutely stunned at. He was put on the transfer list, I think, because he's unhappy. And yeah, we've picked him up just ridiculously cheaply. He's not had the best of times. He wasn't too bad for Geijerskirchen last season, but I think we've done a fantastic bit of business bringing him in there, and he will fit into our team like a hand in a glove. Free kick for Leicester, edge of the area, and it's always going to go in from that position. It's Charlie Taylor with a goal, his first one for Leicester, and they're 1-0 up. Atsu on the ball, sends it back to Baba Rahman. Now Wijnaldum picks out Vilhena. He switches the flank to Iorfa, volleys it into the box, and Origi's there. And who would attempt to volley across it other than Iorfa out on the right, and Origi gets another goal. We're 1-1. Sigurdsson forward to Origi. He's got options on either side, and he picks out Baba Rahman inside to Atsu's. Option was there for a 1-2. Instead, they've come back inside. Now Sigurdsson switches the flank to Iorfa, loads of space, puts it into Atsu. And we're 2-1 up with 20 minutes left to see out in this game. We've come back from 1-0 down to take the lead. Poulsen running at the defence, just a few seconds left. He's found El Nene. It's not over yet, and here's Drinkwater inside to Poulsen, but he's offside, even though the ball's gone in the net. And I think that is the victory all sewn up. An excellent comeback from the team as we win yet another match. I am very pleased with this new tactic, and it's sent us all the way up to 8th in the table now. We're only 1 point behind Stoke, who are up in 6th, and we're not that far off the top 4 places either. So definitely a case of looking up the table and not down the table. Our toughest game of the episode is away at the Emirates, and there's a couple of changes as players who were suspended come back into the team. Mangala and Lucas Silva back in there. Iorfa continues on the right. Otherwise, it's almost as you were in the other positions. We do have a few players coming back on the bench. Pulisic is back on the bench, and Janssen's still on there if we need him. He did score in his last appearance. I think it's going to be quite tough away from home at the Emirates, and also a very good team. But if we do want to get into those European places, we need to be competitive in these matches. Ritchie bursting down the right-hand side of the field. He's picked out Origi. He sends inside to Lucas Silva. There's only been one shot in the first 18 minutes of this match. But here's Gomez on the left flank. He's come on for an injured Baba Rahman. Atsu finds Wijnaldum, and there's Origi! And he just delayed his shot before slotting it into the bottom corner. He's onside, and he's definitely our first choice striker now. 6 goals already, 1-0 up. Mesut Ozil on the attack. Finds Granit Xhaka. Mangala wins the ball back for us. Now Atsu's got options ahead of him. Here's Origi. Still going. Picks out Joe Gomez on the left flank, who volleys it in. And it's a foul by Kieran Gibbs. We've got the penalty. 1-0 up. Could be about to make it 2. Matt Ritchie is going to have the opportunity. to double our lead at the Emirates, which would be absolutely phenomenal. And it's saved by Czech. We can't go 2-0 up. That's such a good opportunity, and it could prove costly. Santi Cazorla looking for Iwobi. There's Welbeck inside. Iwobi again. He's got players in the middle, including Ozil, and it is 1-1. And that penalty miss is looking like it could cost us. Alex Iwobi finds Welbeck. There's Alexis Sanchez in the middle, and that was too easy. They carved us open like butter with slick one-touch passing. And instead of being 2-0 up, we're 2-1 down. Oh, that's such a disappointing result. Had we scored that penalty in the first half, I feel like we probably would have won that game. But Matt Ritchie missed the penalty, and we have lost the match. The match that would have sent us even further up the table. Instead, we're in 9th place, which is not a bad place to be, with one game to go, which is against West Ham, so we can gain at least one place if we do win that match against West Ham. The final game of this episode is our Boxing Day fixture at home against West Ham. Tim Krul in goal for the injured David Ospina. Jordan Lukaku in for the injured Babarama. We were really unfortunate in that last game, picking up 2 injuries, missing a penalty, and then losing the game 2-1. But hopefully we can turn that around now. We are playing West Ham. We will go above them if we can win, so there's definitely an incentive there. Not too many changes from the team other than the 2 injuries. Iorfa is still on that right-hand side of defence with Michael Keane on the bench. And hopefully we will be stronger than West Ham. This tactic has definitely stepped up our performances recently. Players are getting ever closer to a unique 7 across the board situation. Jordan Lukaku will be making his first game, so that's something to watch out for. But everybody's pretty fit and fresh. Berahino has managed to get through the defence straight from kickoff, and we're 1-0 down after 18 seconds. Wasn't entirely sure what was going on there, but a long ball over the top was just left alone by the defence, and we're 1-0 down. Reed's given it away to Hatsu, and after 1 minute and 15 seconds, 2 defensive mistakes have led to 2 goals. Phil Hayner forward to Origi. It's fallen for Christian Atsu, who's inside and has scored, and we've taken the lead on the stroke of half time. Just a few seconds left of added time, but we're 2-1 up. Noble loses the ball to Wijnaldum. Now Phil Hayner can go on a run. He's got Christian Atsu on his left, Origi up top. He sends the ball out wide to Matt Ritchie. Players in the centre for him to aim at. He does put it in, and Origi is there to knock the ball home. 3-1 now against West Ham, and surely we are home and dry. Corner for Matt Ritchie. Knocked down, and there's Wijnaldum, 4-1. Origi on the run, picks out Matt Ritchie on the right, and he's been held back by Cresswell. We've got a penalty. Atsu's penalty, saved by Adrian, and why can't we score penalties? It's a long throw from Michel Antonio, but it's not going to make any difference. He sends the ball in, it's cleared up by Orfa, and it has finished 4-1. An excellent way to end this episode. A very, very comprehensive win. It could have been even better had Atsu got his hat-trick by scoring the penalty. But we're up to 8th in the league now. Really fighting amongst these European places. Although Chelsea have got quite a few games in hand and can charge back up the table. I am very happy with how our season has gone up to this point. It could have been a lot better. Had we changed the tactic maybe in pre-season, we would be higher up the table. But given where we were just a couple of episodes ago, I am very happy with 8th place. As promised at the start of the episode, we are now going to just have a look at the transfer dealings and squad situations of some of the other teams, starting with the league leaders, Manchester United. If we have a look at their senior squad, you can see still got some players such as Zlatan Ibrahimovic, although he is retiring at the end of the season. There's no Wayne Rooney, who appears to have left the club. Let's just look at their transfers. As you can see, the big signing this season was Aymeric Laporte for £56 million. Anthony Martial went to PSG for £83 million. That's quite a lot of money. Wayne Rooney actually went on loan to Celtic, I think. He's not gone permanently. And Darmian for £7 million. Just have a look back at what any of the other big deals. Nainggolan was quite a big one for £30.5 million. Otherwise, nothing major there. And that's it for United. Liverpool this season, not really brought any big players in there. Don't seem to have spent much money, just £32 million. Nobody really going out other than Joe Gomez to us. Oh, that was the first season. If we work our way forward, Yarmolenko for 26 and Dele Alli was a big one for between 34 and 53 million pounds. Quite a lot of money there. They actually spent 100 million pounds that summer. Philippe Coutinho went to Tottenham, so that was almost a swap exchanging Coutinho for Dele Alli. I'm not sure which one I prefer to have in my team really. And this season, a few more big transfers. They brought in Rooley. I know he was a player that people suggested I sign, but he wasn't really an option for me at any point. He didn't want to join us. Players going out. We signed Origi for 20 million and Wijnaldum for 22 million pounds. They did quite a bit of good business from us. Arsenal this season not making any big signings, typical of their manager. Nobody really going out, just Callum Chambers to us. Familiar theme, us raiding the big clubs for the best players. Ante Koric is always a good youth prospect who they've picked up. Again, if you have suggestions for youth players, it's very likely they will have left their original club, so it gets harder and harder. We do have to rely on the regens from this point on, really. But Jack Wilshere going out for less than £10 million. A little bit disappointed I didn't pick him up. They didn't actually sign anybody in the first season, which is quite interesting. Man City, probably the other big club that you'd expect a lot of transfer business from. Not really much this season. Yaya Toure went to Qatar, which is quite interesting that he stayed so long and then went to Qatar. Jovetic and Rooley also going out. That is quite an interesting one. Rooley's been around a little bit recently. This was the first season. In the second season, Griezmann, the massive signing, between 63 and 94 million pounds. Rafael Guerreiro cost almost 50 million pounds. Nobody really going out from the looks of things. And this season, Dembele for up to 61 million pounds. He's a good hot prospect in the game. Lacazette for up to 46 million pounds and Lindelof for 39. Not really anybody going out for big money. Jesse, who I considered signing earlier this season. But otherwise, I'm not going to have a look through all the clubs. I might just have a look at Chelsea. And that will be all of it. So this season, they picked up Lewis Cook from us. I'm very disappointed that we lost him, but I can't imagine he's getting much game time. Just the one appearance, so I might be able to sneak him back at some point. Maybe at the end of this season, he might be available and unhappy at the club. Players going out, somebody big left from the looks of this. Will Hughes went on loan. Traore went to PSG for 15.75. If we go back again, Franco Vazquez for £38 million. The amount of money being spent in this game is absolutely incredible. Lots of smaller transfers. Batshuayi to us for 7.25. And in the first season, Will Hughes, their biggest transfer. Nobody really going out. So in terms of transfers, there's always sort of one big player at each club that they've signed. But it's not too unexpected. It's more just the amount of money flooding around the game. And it's one of the reasons I've really struggled to bring the best players in is because they either aren't... I think the game has biased it a little bit more away from money and to where you are in the league. And until you're climbing up that table, players just are not interested in even entering contract discussions because any Premier League club can give them whatever they want. We've got so many players on £100,000 or more a week. So it does really depend on where you are in the table. And I think until we get European football, our options are going to be very limited. We are going to have to rely on young players who develop over time. But hopefully we can bring Lewis Cook back. He's one to keep an eye on. If he's only played one Premier League game since a £40 million move, we can definitely see if we can unsettle him and bring him back to the club at the end of the year. But that will be all for this episode. If you have any other suggestions for things you want me to spend a bit of time taking a look at or things you want me to do let me know in the comments. And also don't forget to subscribe if you want to see how the season continues. But until next time, see ya!